Happy Monday, cohort 61. I hope you all are doing well. Today and through this week, we are going to be looking at inequalities. Today and tomorrow, Tuesday, we're going to be looking at writing inequalities. Later on in the week, we're going to do graphing of inequalities. Don't worry if you don't know what an inequality is right now. At the end of today, you will. Today, specifically, we're just going to write inequalities. Our goals for today is that you will be able to write an inequality to represent a situation. And then by the end of our Zoom class on Tuesday, you should be able to graph an inequality on a number line. This activity here, estimating heights of people, is actually going to be our warm-up for Zoom class tomorrow. So we're going to skip through it a little bit. We're going to be estimating the height of some tall people. This is what we're going to be working on today, how high and how low something can be. I want you guys to take a look at this picture right here. You have a woman who looks like she's about my height, given that there's a ladder right there and there's a basketball hoop. We want to use what we know about the woman's height and about the heights of the ladders to try if we can see if we can estimate the height of the basketball hoop. When we are estimating, we're not going to get an exact answer. Estimating is when we talk about like our best guess, not just any random guess though, but a guess that makes sense. So here we have the woman, we have a basketball hoop, and then based on the picture, we're trying to think what are some reasonable estimates for the maximum height, meaning the tallest it can be, and the minimum height. What's the lowest height it could be for this basketball hoop? So we're going to fill in these blanks here. We're going to complete the first blank in each sentence with an estimate, and the second blank with either taller or shorter. This is where vocabulary comes into play with math. Then A says, I estimate the minimum height of the basketball hoop to be blank. So minimum would be like the shortest height that it could be. And now I'm thinking that this woman's probably about 5 feet tall. And a basketball hoop looks like it's almost 2 of her. So I'm going to say that like the minimum height for this basketball hoop, and I'm going to take some off because I could be wrong. She could be shorter than 5 feet. So I'm going to say like the minimum height for this basketball hoop would be 8 feet. And I'm actually going to type that in right here, 8 feet. That means that the hoop cannot be blank. So we're going to fill that blank in with either taller or shorter than this height. So if that's the minimum height is 8 feet, that means that the hoop cannot be shorter than 8 feet. So this basketball hoop here cannot be shorter than 8 feet. 8 feet is the minimum estimate. Looking at B, now we're going to think about the maximum. So I estimate the maximum height of this basketball hoop to be, well, it's definitely not 30 feet, because if she's about 5 feet, that would be like 6 of her, and that's way too tall. So there's no way that this basketball hoop is more than 30 feet tall. So that means the maximum is 30 feet. Now remember, we're estimating. We don't know exactly. And for estimates, you want to make reasonable estimates, obviously. Like I'm not going to say the maximum height's 100 feet, because obviously. But you also want to give yourself a little bit of leeway. It's better to overestimate than underestimate. So if we're saying that the maximum height is 30 feet, that means that the basketball hoop cannot be taller than 30 feet. This basketball hoop cannot be taller than 30 feet, but it cannot be shorter than 8 feet. So now we've got a window right there of it. This height is somewhere between 8 feet and 30 feet. I'm going to clear what I just drew and then, or typed, and then we're going to keep on going. All right, so now we're going to write some inequalities. An inequality is a statement that uses the phrases greater than, less than, or equal to. So we're going to write a couple of those thinking about our minimum height of 8 feet and our maximum height of 8 feet. We're going to write two inequalities. One to show the estimate for the minimum height of the basketball hoop, and another to show the maximum height of the basketball hoop. We're going to use the inequality symbols, and I'll show you what they are, and the variable h to represent the unknown height. So as you guys remember from when we were writing equations, if we don't know the actual amount of something, we can use a variable, a letter, to stand for that. Because we don't know the actual height of the basketball hoop, we're going to use the letter H to stand for that. So our inequality to show our estimate for the minimum height of the basketball hoop is, we would say, the height cannot be less than 8 feet. We could also spin it in a positive way. The height is more than 8 feet. The height is greater than 8 feet. We would actually write that inequality as h, which stands for the height, is greater than 8. That symbol right there is our greater than symbol. You may remember from elementary school the greater than and the less than symbols. Greater than, I always think of it as a crocodile. The mouth of the crocodile always wants to eat the bigger number. So in this case, our height is bigger than 8 feet. So h is greater than 8. Now our inequality for the maximum height. We said the maximum height was 30 feet. So we know that the height is less than 30 feet. So we would write that as h, which stands for height, is less than 30 feet. Now in this situation, because the mouth of the crocodile is eating the 30, we know that h is smaller, the height is smaller than 30. So h is less than 30. Beautiful. Now this is when we start getting into graphing. We're not going to do so much of it today. We're just going to do a little bit. Like I said, tomorrow and Wednesday's video, that's when we're going to do a lot of our graphing. We're going to plot each of these points for our minimum and our maximum on the number line. We have our number line here. Our minimum height is h, or I'm sorry, our minimum height is 8. So I'm going to see if I can, I can stamp it. I'm going to use the star to stamp at 8. That's our minimum height right there. And our maximum height is 30, all the way down here. Put a stamp there. So when we look at this number line, we know that our height has to be somewhere in this zone right here on our number line. Now, so let's look at number 4. Suppose a classmate estimated the value of h, the height of the basketball hoop, to be 19 feet. Does that estimate agree with our inequality for the maximum height? And does it agree with our inequality for the minimum height? Let's think about that. So we said h is less than 30, or the maximum height. Is 19 less than 30? Look at our number line. We start at 30. 19 is less than 30. It is to the left of 30 on the number line. So yeah, that works. And does it agree with our inequality for the minimum height? We said that the minimum was 8, so that h has to be greater than 30, or I'm sorry, greater than 8. Is 19 greater than 8? Yes, it is. So that also agrees with it. So that estimated height of 19 feet agrees with both of our inequalities, because on the number line, we can see that 19 is less than 30, And we can see that 19 is more than 8. I'm going to clear these drawings and then move on to the next slide. If right now you're a little bit confused, what you can do is pause this video, rewind it a little bit, and rewatch that section. We're going to do this tomorrow in class, so don't worry about it right now. We're going to look at writing inequalities. So I will define inequality more clearly, talk about the symbols, and then practice writing some inequalities. So an inequality is a statement that compares two expressions. So in our case, what we've been comparing a lot are numbers or numbers and variables. So in the example we just looked at, where we had the inequality h is greater than 8, we were comparing h, the height of the basketball hoop, and 8. And we were saying that the height was larger than 8 feet. I'm going to go through the symbols that we use in inequalities. The first one is greater than. This one would mean, the symbol here would mean that the number on the left of the symbol is larger. So 20 is greater than 5. One you're going to start seeing a lot now is going to be greater than or equal to. We use greater than or equal to when we're looking at inequalities when we don't know what the value of the variable is, but we think it could be equal to that unknown example. And I'll show you an example after this. But to make that symbol, you write the greater than sign, and then you underline it. Less than is obviously the opposite of the greater than symbol. This would mean that the larger number is to the right of the symbol. So 2 is less than 20. And then same thing, less than or equal to, it's the less than symbol underlined. And then the last one, I messed this up. I just realized this is supposed to be not equal to. So it's an equal sign, but what you do is, and I'll draw it for you guys right now. You draw a line through the equal sign. So it is not equal to. So like 5 is not equal to 10. Or the height of the basketball hoop is not equal to 3 feet. And then a solution of an inequality is any value of the variable that would make the inequality true. The solution for the inequality, we talk about our variables there. So for the height of the basketball hoop, h is greater than 8. We could put any number to stand for h, as long as it's greater than h, or greater than 8. So we're going to fill in a couple of these here. What we're going to do is look at the inequality. I'm going to show you how to say it, and then 3 possible solutions. There are way more than 3 solutions for each of these inequalities. There's like an infinite number, but I'm just going to give you 3. So our first one, we read this right here as x is less than 18. And 3 possible solutions to this are 17, 4, and negative 18. Any number smaller than 18 is a solution. The next one is read as y is greater than or equal to negative 4. And 3 possible solutions are negative 3, 5, or negative 4, because in this instance, it could be equal to negative 4. This could be an example where it's like the sea level of a city is negative 4 feet, or it could be more than negative 4 feet. This next one is read as z is greater than negative 6. Again, there's an infinite number of solutions, but 3 possible ones are negative 4, 0, and 3. Those are all greater than negative 6 because they are all to the right of negative 6 on a number line. And then the last one is read as A is less than or equal to 9. A good example for this one would be that Alicia is going to spend no more than $9 on her lunch. So she could spend $9 on her lunch, but she could also spend less than $9, but she will not spend more than $9. 3 possible solutions to this that are either to the left of 9 on a number line or 9 are 9, 8, and -3. So I'm hoping that at this point you feel that you can write an inequality to represent a situation with the less than sign or greater than sign or equal to sign. To use those signs on the computer, you can actually look at on your keyboard, and they are the 2 symbols that are between the M button and the question mark button. But in order to use those, you need to hit Shift and the one that you want at the same time. So these examples right here are what you're actually going to add into our discussion post as our check for understanding. This is part of your assignment for this week. You're going to look at the 3 situations, and for each situation, you are going to write an inequality and give me 2 possible solutions. When you write the inequality, you need to use some type of variable or letter to stand for the unknown amount. I don't care what letter you use. And then you're going to use either the greater than symbol, the less than symbol, or the equal symbol. So, for example, the price is more than $75. You could use letter P to stand for the price. Use either greater than or less than, and then 75. And then you need to figure out what are 2 possible solutions to this. You are going to post your answers in the discussion board titled Writing Inequalities. That is located on our Power School class page or Unified Classroom class page, which by now I am pretty sure you know how to get to because you are all on this video. And if you're on this video, then you know how to get to the class page to post your answers to these discussion questions. You're going to go to the discussion post that is on the right-hand side, Writing Inequalities. It's on the Writing Inequalities subpage. Click Discuss. I can't post yet because it's not open, but you will post it here. The 3 examples are there, and they even give you an example too. If you have any questions about this lesson, you can come to our Zoom class. Zoom classes are Tuesdays at 12 for math. The link is on our class page. It is also on Class Dojo and on Teams. So any of those 3 places you can find the link. If you have questions, you can also message me through Unified Classroom or through Teams. I hope to see all of you guys on Tuesday at 12 for class. See you then. Bye.